Soy el Baba Hussein, tengo 15 años. A mí me gusta el hip hop, el rap.
They want the tapes. They're not gonna let us live without the tapes. Porque están mintiéndole el cariño. Yo he desaparecido todas las cosas por el bien de ustedes, ¿me entienden?
The bigger our story got, the harder the polisario would try to find the tapes.
Esclavitud hombre por hombre es el más apenas del mundo. Tú tienes que saber eso, ¿sabes? Pero existe aquí.
The plan was for our contact to then smuggle the tapes to the neighbouring country of Mauritania.
بالعني أنا خالي شماخر مايكل شماخر عنه خالي.
Y en ese momento los invadieron y ella llevó a Fetín para acá.
أنا من ذوك الماركين ومن واحد من ذوك اللي ماركين.
Y aquí nunca nadie ha dicho si tiene esclavos tienen que ir a la cárcel, nunca nadie ha dicho.
And when we called Matala and Salem and told them our contact hadn't shown up with the tapes, they said they wanted to come to Mauritania and would record their stories again.
أقول لها أننا نحن شخصيا عنا اعتقاد إنه نحن بنروسنا. وكردو وهمش. ولا عندك حد مشكلة ولا خارج.
And there is no slave in the camps.
For me, if the slavery is still existing, it's a shame on the whole humanity.
Cuando ustedes enseñan el film y ellos se vienen tal a nosotros, ustedes no escuchan eso. Y dejan que es una mentira. Ahora mira si es mentira o verdad.
These people have lied.
Eso es lo que queremos nosotros, que ya no exista este tema, que ya se borre, que sea del pasado, pero que no sea del presente ni del futuro.
The first place I visited is a refugee camp called 27 de Febrero, and it struck me for the first time how desolate this place is. I can't imagine how people can live here where nothing can grow. We visited a Sahraui family who were separated after the invasion, and we discovered that this was a very common story among the people living here. When I talked to the woman, I felt a connection with their loss. I could understand their anxiety and the need to find who they are and where they belong.
Sí, le he visto en las fotos, es una vieja.
My father left when I was a little girl and my mother died when I was 16. When I told my story to this woman, we shared the same feelings, and they could understand why I was making this film. They wanted to know how I felt the first time I saw my father. I told them how difficult it can be to recover the years that had passed, but how important it is to do this, because then you can understand who you really are. When you realize that slavery exists and how it works, this is a problem.
Yeah, the family name is sort of lost. It's with the master.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the whole issue of when there is slavery.
But
Yes.
at the time, they didn't know. We didn't know either. It's like nobody knew at the time.
No, it's not that nobody. Everybody knew that it exists,
the question is this a widespread situation? Are all black Mauritanians, I want to say, because in Mauritania are all black Sahraouis automatically slaves?
I didn't go and look for this. I didn't know that this is happening. I didn't know that Fatim was separated from her mother because she was a slave, and the white woman took the little girl, and I didn't know anything.
Yeah, well, we know these kind of situations, not for an individual, but we know that this exists, and when it comes to our attention, we follow up. And if you know, and what is the most important for us is to be present in the camps, and we are present in the camps. We have reports from officers who talk to the people. We have reports from officers where it was brought to the attention of the police. But as I said, I'm convinced that this practice exists, but I don't think this is something which is widely spread in a way that all black-colored refugees are being discriminated. So I think the only way we can get together is to make sure that these things are not happening. And for example, what we are doing, we are having training, workshops, training for people working in the judicial system of the polisario to make them aware of human rights. We have workshops with them.
And in the Article 4 of the UN Declaration of Human Rights says that no one shall be held in slavery of servitude. Slavery and slave trade shall be forbidden in all their forms.
Absolutely.
But what's happening there?
But
you're there since 1995.
Once again, I told you, I mean, we are going in circles because you
don't even want to watch what I
want to watch it, but I don't need to watch it now. I know that practices are existing. I also know if the practices are being brought to our attention that we follow up. This is our work. You cannot change a culture which is not only existing in the camps, but which is existing in a society. You cannot come in from the outside, either from the UN, nor from, I don't know where you're, Australia, and just say, okay, this has to change. We are all aware this has to change. There's no doubt. And I'm the first one really to I'm fully in agreement if you can bring it to the public that these practices has to stop. I'm fully with you, no problem. But I think we're both working in the same direction. You want that these practices are being condemned, and that's the same with UNHCR. So why should there be any conflict?
But they were not doing that. They were not doing.
It's not that. I mean, I can tell you, if you have to assist 100,000 refugees in the camps, it may be not the, how can I say it, maybe not the highest priority on the daily basis, but I would completely disagree with you that if it is being brought to the attention of UNHCR, that UNHCR would say this is not our business.
But they didn't want it to meet with them. They say that the business.
But they did.
To monitor.
As you said, you would show me. I can give you a note for the files where they met with the refugees on this issue. They did. You may think
but
you have discovered.
No, it's not my perception. I'm talking to you that like I say to you, I have just in a little thing that I got, I have 13 people saying I'm a slave, and what's happening to them, they take away the kids.
You go to Mauritania, you go out of the camps, you will find the same.
But but this is not a refugee camp. Mauritania, it's a country.
No, what I want to tell you, it's a cultural issue which is existing, and that's what I try to. This is not something you can abolish from one day to the other. This is something which needs a long time, and it has to come from the people. But the first thing should be
accepting publicly that this is happening. That
I told you.
It's not a cultural. It's not a cultural problem. It's what? It's not a cultural problem.
It's what?
Like it's a human problem.
Yes.
It's a real problem that there is no laws that protecting these refugees, that they are a minority in a refugee camp. It's not a cultural problem.
But I assume this is being made for the public, so we will see it. So, but I don't. I mean, I'm working in this kind of situation for so many years, so I don't need, to see it now on the screen. I believe, as I told you from the beginning, these practices exist not only in the camps, but also in the camps, as they exist in the surrounding. In Mauritania, there's a big debate about it, as there are many other practices which are against basic human rights, which exist, and we have to combat, and that's what we are doing.
So does the UN have? What are you going to do?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I just said this is our daily life. When we are,
completely.
for example, if we are aware,
question.
if for example we are in a camp and something is being brought to our attention, we bring it to the police officers. And there is, for example, I have a report where it was brought to the attention of the police. Whenever there's an issue of rape.
Are you talking about UN police officers or polisario police officers?
No, polisario, because we don't have any UN police officers. As I told you already, we have workshops and trainings for the polisario authorities, so that they are aware that they have mechanisms in place how to combat slavery. But it's also, as I said, it's broader than this. It's a more public issue. And you may not agree with it. I still think even it is a human right, but it's still cultural limited, like a female genital mutilation. So again, you are asking for something which I'm fully in agreement, but maybe where we have a bit of a difference is who can change that, how long it will take, which effort it is in. And I think probably your documentary will be a part of it. It will be part of it to make this happen, to make the change, and to alert and to raise attention.
But you're doing since 1991, and until now you have done anything with regards to this?
There have been prosecutions because of this. There has been police officers tracing people who had slaves. I mean, this is what I have received as reports. People don't disagree by saying that it exists. Nobody's denying the existence because, as again I said, it's part of this human rights abuse is part of this specific culture.
Some of them, they say that they were very afraid because justice will never be, like the justice will give the reason to their masters.
So what would you think we should do?
I believe that you should start talking to the polisario and go and talking to the people who want to talk to you.
Well, we talk to the Minister of Interior of Polisario.
But when they call you, when these black people have been calling you, you've been refusing their calls.
But this is again where I disagree with you, because you cannot say we are refusing.
But I was there.
The first thing is that the refugees have to let us know that there is something wrong and they want us to help them. And we will do this. This is what we are doing all over the world.
Just 90,000 refugees, if they say that they are the 10%, I think the UN has the capacity to go and talk to every black family and see what's happening. Like we're talking about 9,000 people, and I think
that's
11 years have
and
passed,
then the next,
force or talk to the polisario to do a rule to say
absolutely,
slavery is
and that's what we are doing.
Then people should start to taking these cases to court, and this problem will be sorted out. I don't know in 10.
But that's exactly what we're doing. We have meetings with the Minister of Interior, with the Minister of Justice of Polisario. We were talking about these issues. If you just bring it from the outside, the reaction will be immediately defense. Polisario will say, no, it doesn't exist. We have our procedures. The ones who feel discriminated will say all of us are in the same situation. The ones who don't feel discriminated, they will say all of us are in the same situation. So it's a process which takes a long time. And you bring your contribution by alerting and by preparing the documentary, which I think it's one step, in the right direction.
أنا باغي تحرير الناس الخضر خاصة. أنا باغي الناس الخضر في الصحراء يعودوا أحرار، يعودوا رسم مرفوعين فوق، يطالبوا بتحريرهم، يطالبوا بسيادتهم، يطالبوا بكرامتهم. ما أنا باقينهم يتموا قاعدين يحاولوا انهم يحرروا من نفوسهم. لازمهم يحرروا روس، لازمهم يقوموا مع روس. احنا تكلمنا عنهم بالعالم، تكلمنا عنهم في كل بلد، وهم احنا نتكلموا عنهم من اجلهم. لازمهم عنهم يقوموا معانا ويعدلوا معانا الشيء باش العالم يعاونهم، والعالم ضد هاي المسلة، ضد هاي العبودية، ضد هذا الملك، ضد هذا السلب والنهب